Today I'm going to share what I understand of connection and forgiveness. And in order to allow us to feel this in this interaction, I'm going to use Thich Nhat Hanh's meditation of compassion for the person you hate or despise the most. So I'm going to share this, and I ask you to go ahead and just go through this exercise and see if you can feel a difference. And after we do the exercise, we'll discuss how this feeling, this change occurs. So you can find this in his book, Miracle of Mindfulness, depending on the edition, anywhere from page 93 to 140. And the meditation is this: sit quietly, breathe, and smile the half smile. Contemplate the image of the person who has caused you the most suffering. Regard the features you hate or despise the most, or find the most repulsive. Try to examine what makes this person happy and what causes suffering in his daily life. Contemplate this person's perceptions. Try to see what patterns of thought and reason this person follows. Examine what motivates this person's hopes and actions. Finally, consider this person's consciousness. See whether his views and insights are open and free or not, and whether or not he has been influenced by any prejudices, narrow-mindedness, hatred, or anger. See whether or not he is master of himself. Continue until you feel compassion rise in your heart, like a well filling with fresh water, and your anger and resentment disappear. Practice this exercise many times on the same person. When we contemplate this, if you have any change in feeling at all, an increase of peace, an increase of connection, an increase of love or okayness, realize that this change has nothing to do with the other person or anything outside yourself. When we go to examine how this change occurs, what we realize is the first thing that Thich Nhat Hanh asks us to do is to connect with and understand the person as a person, rather than simply look at their actions or behaviors. We are not our actions or our behaviors. We are more than that. We interact with the world through our actions, our behaviors, our physical being. But who we are is more than our physical self. So when we feel this change, when we feel this increased connection, compassion, forgiveness for others, it's not happening outside of us, between us and another person. It's not because of what they're thinking, doing, saying. It's because we've connected to that space inside of us where the energy, the eternal, the infinite energy of all of us exists. And here's the hard part. When we feel a disconnection, we think it's about what's happening outside of us, and we go outside of us to try and fix it. But the doorway to this infinite energy, that well of fresh water, the good, clean, fresh, invigorating energy that allows us to feel connected to every being, every animal, every rock, every tree, the warmth of the sun, the smile of a baby. The doorway to that connection and that energy is inside us. So the more we try to go outside of us to change somebody else's actions, feelings, thoughts, behaviors, their anger, their aggression, the more we go outside of us to try and increase our connection, the more lonely, sad, and isolated we feel. When we go inside of us, when we look at this place where we understand and we can contemplate the idea of others, who they are, how they find happiness, how they find sadness and suffering, and all of these things. You can't actually understand this from somebody else's point of view. So this exploration into others actually gives us this connection and insight into ourselves. And the moment we connect inside ourselves, we connect to this energy, and we find that everyone and everything we wanted to connect to is already there waiting for us. So as we understand this and we be with ourselves, we are actually more connected. And sometimes, because we're connected to this energy, that the doorway is in us and we walk through it, and we actually find that the energy and the presence and the love and the understanding that everyone is searching for is already there. We sometimes find that we're actually more connected to others in that moment than they are to themselves. And this is why some people actually become aggressive or frustrated or angry, and they will seek to attack or move us, or they become aggressive because they can sense in that moment that we're actually more connected to them than they are. And in the mind they say, if they're closer to me than I am, they must be blocking me. And so they try to force us away so they can get closer to what they want already within themselves. And they don't understand the more they focus on us, the more distant they come from that doorway to connection to not only themselves, but everyone and everything else. The more we focus outside, the more we become distant from the connection that can only be found within us. This is why the Walk for Peace, we've got the monks, the 24 monks walking across the United States. They aren't trying to change anyone else. But as they walk and they have this connection to themselves, many people want to go and drink from that well of refreshing energy that they see in these monks. It's desirable. The closer you are to this within yourself, the more people are going to want to connect with you and drink from that same energy. But that doorway to connection only comes from peace and connection within ourselves. When we think it's about other people, we become frustrated, angry, aggressive, hurtful. And this is why there are some people who try to shut these monks down. The monks aren't forcing anything on anyone. But when they perceive their connection as distant and they believe it's outside themselves, they try to connect it with another person or get back to this connection by pushing others away. And they end up feeling more hurt, more frustrated, and more isolated. When you step into that place within yourself where you feel truly connected to you, you will connect to the infinite source of energy where all beings exist. And you will lose the need to make others change because you'll be full already inside yourself from that energy.